Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Dawes, and this video is going to be a little bit different than the previous ones that I have pulled together. I'm not yet sure myself where this may go, but I thought I'd try something new today. I have, in recent years, been inspired on a topic, and you could probably guess it by my screen. Barbie was huge for me as a kid. My best friend lived next door, and we sat on the driveway all day and just played Barbies. And obviously, the movie came out a couple of years ago, and there's lots of different points in time where I thought I'd do something with Barbie, a data viz, and never really finished it. And then in the recent week, I felt re-inspired. And I'm working through ideas this morning and kind of struggling. And I kind of sat here laughing about all of these blog posts that the community will put together and talk about, like, here's my process. I have no process. I've shared that before. And as I try to write up where my head goes and how I come about things, it's always super jumbled and messy. That's the ADHD brain. So I thought I'd try something different this time. Rather than sharing out a completed viz and where it landed and what I liked and what I struggled with, I thought, well, let's go on this journey together. And if it turns out great, cool. Here's some great videos on how I worked through the process in pulling something together. And if it doesn't ever get published, then maybe these videos are just garbage. This morning, where my head was, is I found a data set on, I believe it was Data World by Judith, that she had pulled together the careers over time of Barbie. I thought that's really interesting because, wow, I never as a kid considered my influence, but now as an adult, it's wild to think. And so I started adding to the list as I pulled a couple of additional ones. I think the data set ended in 2020, so I added a couple of additional ones. And of course, I was having conversations with my best friend, ChatGPT. Here's just some ways that I use it, kind of going back and forth with, here's a data set, help me complete it, help me pull some additional information. So it was a lot of back and forth, lengthy data set of careers. But as this started to unfold, I was like, well, that's not the story I want to tell. I'm really not that interested in Barbie's careers as a doll. But what I'm really interested in is how that's changed maybe over time. And me as a kid growing up in the 80s, 90s, like what that influence may have looked like and what that might look like now for kids. Do they even play Barbie as much as maybe kids did when I was little? I don't know. So anyways, this is kind of the conversation. I was walking through step by steps of, okay, so I have careers. I have this movie. What did the movie do to the dolls? And what did the Barbie impact do maybe for influencing kids? Then I'm looking at gross revenue for Barbie compared to Mattel. I was struck with this idea. I really enjoy putting my own story into it. If you've looked at any of the things I've published on Tablet Public, there's bits and pieces of my story, my journey, my life in almost every viz. And so this one I felt like very passionate about having my own personal journey with Barbie. And so I decided on maybe a Dear Barbie idea. It would be an open diary to Barbie and growing up with Barbie and her evolution over the years. There was a couple of pieces that I was going to pull together, and then ChatGPT put together a wireframe of some sort of an idea. Nothing near, I think, where I'm going to end up landing, but certainly an interesting start. So this is kind of where I'm at. If you have ideas, recommendations, data that you think is interesting, or just want to comment on what you think of the story so far, happy to engage and show you where I land. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this makes Tableau public.